Welcome to Drayton Manor. In this video I'm going to share a bunch of hints and tips to make sure you maximise your next visit to the park. Let's get inside. Right, so the obvious thing you need for a park is tickets, and as is the case in most places nowadays, you don't want to be buying them at the gate because you will pay significantly more. So make sure it's not a last minute trip. Try and have at least 24 hours planning so you can buy your tickets online and save a little bit of money. Because yeah, if you buy them on the day, it'll be expensive. Now, this is an interesting one because this park does not have an app. You use the Tap app to put your tickets in it, and it's got a map. Tap app, map, but it's a bit crap. Doesn't tell you queue times or anything like that, so you're probably not going to be on the app a huge amount. However, if you are somebody whose phone's maybe a little bit shady, or you're so bored you're on your phone all the time, they do have like charging batteries that you can rent for a period of time. I'd recommend bringing your own if you think you're going to need it, but you can pay and get access to a battery for a period of time should you need it. Right, now if like me you quite like the ride photos, the system they've got in here right now seems to be the one across most of the UK parks. It's actually really good, whereby you can scan a QR code and add all your photos to your account throughout the day, even if you've not paid. And then at the end of the day, you can make that decision of whether you think it's enough, you've got enough photos to justify paying to actually download those images. But it means you don't have to make a decision at the start of the day, you don't have to try and remember all the numbers, you can just add them to your account and make a decision at the end, which is perfect. Right, so this park has a couple of water rides. It's got a new one this year, a little kids one in Thomas Land. I'm not really interested in that one. However, Stormforce 10, this bad boy here, you are guaranteed to get absolutely drenched. No, you might get wet, you will come off that, soaked through your underpants. The other one, the Rapids, that's kind of hit and miss. I've done the Rapids and come off bone dry, so, but there's no guarantees. But definitely Stormforce 10, yeah, don't do that, unless you want to get wet. Right, this is where I would normally say, when it comes to lunch, try and eat at unusual times, because, you know, otherwise you'll get stuck in a queue. And that is definitely true. If you're somebody that's coming here and you're going to be buying food, try and avoid the kind of 11:30 till 1:30-ish time, so early or later lunch. That said, this is one of the few parks that is quite comfortable with you bringing your own food. So if you're a family, it may actually be more viable to bring in a picnic and then just find one of the tables and enjoy your own food. So definitely want to consider to save a little bit of cash. Right, this is a weird one, and this will vary with it for everybody. For me, phone signal in here is terrible, especially when I'm in the ride buildings. Pretty much nothing. They don't have Wi-Fi, which I find strange. There's a lot of things about this park that you would expect that are just missing, and Wi-Fi is one of them. So if you're going to split up from your group, don't necessarily assume that you can text them and say, oh, I'll meet you at such and such. Have a plan up front. Say, I'll meet you at this ride in half an hour or whatever it is, because you might be stuck in a queue with no signal and unable to contact the rest of your group. Now, when I think of Drayton Manor, I do think of the theme park and all the rides and attractions. However, they do have a lovely zoo. It's very nice, quite sizable, lots of animals to see, reptiles, all that kind of good stuff. So make sure you don't miss out on that one, and it's perfect when you've just had your lunch. Nice casual stroll through all the animals. So if you're coming here, I'm going to assume you're bringing your car. Most people do. And it's not uncommon when you buy tickets to be offered car park, paying for car parks. And I usually don't do it because I just do it on the day. But actually, at Drayton, it's more expensive if you pay on the day. So when you're offered that parking ticket, when you're buying your normal tickets, make sure you take it. Save yourself a couple of quid. You probably expect this. It's a kids park, so they ask for no smoking and no vaping. A lot of people don't seem to care. A lot of people are like, but it's outdoors, I can do what I want. Please respect other people. Like, they have dedicated smoking areas. Use them. Don't just smoke around little kids. Not cool. Now, this one's a little bit strange by today's standards, but believe it or not, Drayton Manor does not have an app. You go to any theme park around the UK, they will have an app, and it will help you with directions and queue times and getting your fast passes and all that kind of good stuff. There is the Tap app, which is not Drayton Manor's app, but they have a map on the app. It says on the website that live queue times is coming soon. I don't know if that means they're getting a proper app, so maybe by the time you see this video they now have an app, but as it stands at the time of recording there is no app. There's a static picture of a map, so it's not even the kind that sort of puts a wee dot and says you are here and then you follow it around and give you directions. So in terms of getting around the park, it's a little bit old school. You won't be relying on your phone very much because it's kind of useless. So the park does have Fast Pass. They have 3 different ones depending on, one of them gets you on 3 rides, one of them gets you on 5 rides, and one of them gets you on limited rides. So if you're here on a busy day and you want to skip some queues, you can do that. Also worth noting that if you have a short stay with them, you stay on site, then it is free Fast Pass. So they got you covered if you want to skip those queues on a busy day. So there's one thing that you kind of get in a few parts around the UK that they do have here, but they do it a little differently, and that is, well, it's not applicable today, that's their rainy day guarantee. So you'll see a few parks that if the weather's really poor, you'll be entitled to a free return either later in the year or within 12 months. They do have that here, but it's an optional £2 extra when you buy your tickets. So you're kind of gambling, do you think it's going to be rainy or not? Which is a little odd. But if you're coming here at a time of year where the weather's a bit kind of unpredictable, it might be worth paying the extra couple of quid. This one's fairly common for UK theme parks, but not always the case internationally. So worth mentioning, if the park says that it closes, for example tonight at 4:30, basically that means that the queue lines close at 4:30. Not that the park is to be empty by 4:30. So you can sneak in at 4:29, and even if that queue takes 40, 50, 60 minutes, they will honour that. So get your final ride in just before the park closes. Now, as you'd expect in any park nowadays, everything is contactless. You don't really need to bring money unless you're going to do these arcades. If you're going to do the arcades, they're old school, they do still take cash. They do have a cash machine in there, but it'll charge you for the privilege of taking out your own money. So if you plan on doing the arcades, the penny machines, all that kind of stuff, bring money with you. Otherwise, you'll be paying £1.50 just to take cash out. Now you can get into this part for free, or kind of. You can use your Clubcard vouchers. To do so, you can redeem them at the gate, so you can just rock up with your points and then exchange it for a ticket. So another thing that this park does is different events, so you probably want to keep an eye on the website and see what events are coming up. For example, they've got Festival, Summer Fun, Vikings Festival, Halloween, fireworks, and of course a Christmas event. So definitely see what is on around about the time that you're thinking on coming. You might be able to take part in one of these events. Right, there you go, that is my hints and tips for your next visit to Drayton Manor. Hopefully you found those useful. If you have, please hit that like button. Consider subscribing, because I do this for various parks up and down the country and indeed internationally. If you have any other tips that I have not shared, please do drop them in the comments for others to help. It'd be much appreciated. Anyway, I have been Chris, you've been watching Coaster Dad, and I shall see you in the next one. Adios.